Bam Ransom with Ransom Notes, powered by townhallfinance.com and Ransom Notes TV, joined by David Williams, as always, getting all the information that you need for the next market movement advance at pagetrader.com. How you doing today, David?
Good morning, John. Thanks for having me on, and I'm doing well.
Great, great. Let's talk a little bit about something we didn't get to yesterday, and that is the direction of the S&P 500.
Well, thank you, and let's take a look at it. John, our work is to give our subscribers and our clients highly specific instructions about what the market is about to do. Whether that market is the S&P or whether it's crude oil or gold or the euro or the dollar or some other market. We don't specialize in generalities. We specialize in very, very specific things that the market's going to do. So specific that it almost doesn't seem like it would be possible to give out that information and have the market follow through. So let me give you an example with what happened in today's session for the S&P. Today's session opened quite a bit lower, and our forecast was that the S&P was going to find the price of $1,928 or slightly higher as very important resistance for today, and that the market, by failing at those levels, by not being able to really close above those levels on hourly chart or something like that, that the S&P would decline from $1,928 down to $1,913 and would do so in today's relatively early session. The market did today fail at $1,928. The actual swing high was $1,930.75, but they could not sustain any price movement above that. They pulled back immediately, and then the rest of the day from that point forward, early this morning, the market has been in a decline, and we completed the $1,913 downside target, which is a really nice trade. I mean, that's a $600 to $700 per contract trade, with not only the starting price given out, which was $1,928, but the finishing price, which was $1,913, and when that finishing price would be reached in today's session. Now, that's a lot of very specific information to be given, and we do that routinely. The most
impressive thing about the service is that you give very, very specific guidance in terms of what to expect. Yes. and what will happen if certain levels are reached and where they will go, and that makes it uniquely actionable.
Yeah, that's well said. The reason it isn't actionable often is because the information is so generalized. We think the market's going higher, or we're considering longs, but we're saying things like, listen, the S&P is going to fail at this number, and in the third hour of today, it's going to be 18 points lower at this number. And we lay it right out there for our subscribers. We've been doing this now for 15 years. We've been here since February of 2000. Amongst our followers, we have many big-name market people who have been amazed at the ability to be able to do this with markets, and we're continuing to work on improving that because we think of the markets more as a science than simply an unholy free-for-all auction, because it is a free-for-all, but there are other forces at work that are difficult to describe that put the market more into the science category than into a mere auction. And we try to prove that, I suppose, so to speak, by making these forecasts for our clients and having them trade it. The best thing that can happen, or the best compliment to us, is not nice call for a move, but that they actually made money with that information. And so we specialize in that.
And one of the things that I think bears that out is the fact that you are able, kind of uniquely in my experience, to detect some of these larger movements that happen both up and down in the market.
We do, and I want to just say briefly here, for those of you that didn't know of us back in 2014, we called for a biblical decline in July. We called for a biblical decline in the crude oil market, meaning that it was trading at $97, and the move was going to be so big that we didn't have a way of measuring it, and that we just called it biblical. Well, the crude oil market has gone down 60% since then. It's gone down 60 full handles, and no one really saw that coming, but we gave it out on live radio. We gave out the euro was going to crash last year, and the dollar was going to go through the roof. We gave that out on live radio. We also forecast in late 2010 that the real estate market had bottomed, and we encouraged people all through 2011 to buy homes if they were in a financial position to do so. Homes across the country are between 25 and 40% in value, which is a large increase in just a couple of years' time. And so we do look at these larger term forecasts, and we do give them out, and they can be very useful to people. And we know people who went out and purchased homes and are in much better positions now because of following those kinds of forecasts. So I appreciate you saying that.
No problem, David. Hey, listen, I will let you go get on with the webinar, get all the information that you need for the next market movement at Advance with Paige Trader and David Williams, 888-231-4702. That's 888-231-4702, or look them up online at pagetrader.com. We will see you next week, David.
Thank you, John. Have a wonderful weekend. See you then. All right. Well, good morning, everyone. My name is David Williams. Pleasure to have all of you here with us today. Most of you that are here probably already know about what we're all about and so on, but I think it's good to go over with new people what it is that we do and what we specialize in, and why a person might be interested in signing up and really getting this unending stream of very high quality, very likely trades to occur. Now, we're not always 100% correct. We occasionally will get it wrong, and to protect ourselves, we use protective stops to make sure that we don't have to give back large swaths of already conquered territory, meaning gains, because to do that would mean that you're no longer investing, you're simply gambling. And that gambling is for other types of traders and people who maybe just don't know what they're doing. But by protecting your capital with stops, then the occasional time where something may not work out exactly right, we can get out with a very small loss and go on to perhaps the next 10 trades in a row that win. And we often have 10 or 12 or 15 in a row that are correct. And those of you that have followed us, and that's not because it's magic, it's just because a lot of background work is done on the trades, very much like what many of you probably do to some extent or another in setting up your own trades. You're looking for certain things to be there, certain things perhaps to not be there, so that you can put your trades together. I'll take a few minutes here. I'm going to go through what we did this week so you can take a look at what the trades look like, especially if you're new, and what we were looking for. On this chart on the right here, this was on Wednesday, which was just 2 days ago, looking for gold, which was trading at 1133, to first test 1130, and here it is doing that. That's a $3 move down, and then to go further to 1122 to 1121. So here's the 1130 test. They bounced, and they went down, and look at the low, 1121. So this is a great example of the kind of forecast, the kind of specifics that you can get. Why guess at the market? What is guessing going to do for you? Isn't it better to know what the market's going to do? Yes, certainly it is. And we're very happy to put that information together. Here's the S&P. A lot of our trades this week were in the S&P. Here's the S&P, looking for them to go from where they were at 1923 down to 1912. This is them completing that 1912 downside target. Here is the S&P again, Monday, looking for a further decline and test of 1964 to 63. Later that session, they were trading at 1972. So this is about a 9-point decline, and this is the move that we're forecasting. There it is in reality, expressing itself as a real, in this world event. The market was, hold on here. I hope you can still hear me. I know we just lost our video now. Did the presenter get changed?
We can hear you, but the
you can't
screen
see
is no charts are gone.
That's interesting. I'm not sure why that is. Well, if you can hear me, just pretend like I'm showing you really impressive charts and stay impressed. No. Unfortunately, I don't think I can do that. But Jerry, you're with us here, so why don't we chat with you for a minute about any of the markets that we've covered this week. We did an awful lot in the S&P, including today, and I'm wondering if you have anything you'd like to add to what has happened this week.
Yeah, it certainly has been a busy week in the S&P with a number of just really fantastic day trades. I've heard from, and really I stayed well connected to a number of traders, helping them manage that trade, a little bit of entry assistance and what have you. So really pleased that a number of traders really had really fantastic weeks. Over the last 2 weeks, I've heard from a number of traders who have said that they've absolutely had their best days and their best weeks in their careers. So that's really
that's nice
obviously satisfying and fulfilling. A bond trade last night was beautiful. You put out a
right over here on the left.
We put out that late report for nearly a one-handle advance in the 30-year bond, and that just played out beautifully into the overnight. Virtually no heat, no drawdown, just really moved well to the target, and so that was a really nice trade. And actually, we've got a little bit of a decent start into a crude trade that we talked about in today's meeting.
Yes.
And so we've got a number of guys who are into that trade, and so that looks encouraging. But yeah, just another really good week. Maybe a little bit slow. We had a good trade to the downside in gold. For the forecast decline down to the 21 level. Well, I think we were trading up at 33, 35 at the time, so that was a nice trade this week in gold. So absolutely plenty of opportunity across the board, and especially very busy in the S&P. So for day traders in the S&P, really just fantastic. And we've got some. I think we've got some very good trade indications and setups in the currencies as well coming into next week. So very exciting week on tap.
We do, and I'm delighted to say that many of the success stories from the traders that you are referring to were as a direct result not only of them having the forecast and understanding what the market was going to do in advance, rather than guessing or rather than using some flimsy, methodology that is not even right half the time. They had Jerry Fagnant, who was just speaking here, his help, your help, Jerry, in actually putting the trade to use, because you have 8 years of experience trading our methodology, taking the trades and putting them on and taking them off and so on, and 30 years of trading in your own crude oil with big accounts and so on. So, we're delighted to have you helping these people to better utilize what Williams Edge really is offering.
Yeah, nothing more fulfilling really than helping to take what I know is just a phenomenal trader's service, and and help somebody work kind of through the curve, or the learning curve, if you will, to really understand how to best implement the trade forecasts and how to put those in conjunction with their own the own work that they do, and that has just really been something that I've enjoyed immensely this year.
Yeah, myself as well. Now, for today's S&P, we do have a outlook. This is the center chart. You can't see it, but you guys know about the S&P. I do think we do have some indications that this is a trend day down, and that although we've already completed the move from 1928 down to 1913, it's very likely we're going to see follow through down to 1907 and even as low as 1900 to 1898 in today's session. So until the market, now those are a little more generalized than to this morning's call for the 28 to 13, but it still is there. We're still looking at that. So I would caution you to not take much action on the long side at this point. I think if you're indicators or you're overbought and oversold or whatever it is that you're using, if that is giving you a buy signal, it's likely going to be wrong and the market is going to go further. That's just our best outlook as to what we think is going to happen. We've given that out on live radio today, and we've given that to our clients in the meeting hours ago now. So keep that in mind. And the market is pressing lower now. They're attempting to go lower. It's very likely we have a trend day down underway. One of the other things I wanted to mention, we won't take too much more time on this, but there's a real difference when you are putting trades on that have been fully vetted. There, you know, your mind is a remarkable device. Most people, in fact, everyone is not conscious of everything that your mind is recording as news or evidence or whatever you want to call it that gets recorded into your brain. And when you're taking a really high quality set of trades, your mind is getting used to, even unbeknownst to you, the kind of look that the market has, the kind of conditions that surround the market and so on. It's getting used to that, and it's starting to learn what the market looks like when it's about to do certain things that the forecast would say it's going to do. In other words, there's an education that comes with getting good trades, as opposed to banging back and forth and redoing and over and again and trying to get it right. You're not learning a lot with that, but if you're getting something that has very high probability, then you are actually learning something. Now, I do want to remind everybody, especially the new people, that trading is risky. You can lose money in trading, and I would encourage you to read our disclaimer on our website. Not because we want to frighten you, but we want you to know that you should be trading with money that you can afford to lose. We have no intention of you losing your money, but I think it's wise for you to read the disclaimer and understand, if you're getting into trading, what it is. Now, we don't take new people, by the way. If you're brand new to the market, our service isn't available to you. It's only available to people who have experience in the markets and have been around the markets for a while, because we're doing things that require you to understand what you're doing in the markets. And if you happen to be brand new, there's nothing wrong with you coming to webinars and checking out what we're doing, but I think you'd be wise to wait until you have more information about what the markets are all about and so on before taking advantage of the service as we present it. Let me see if there's any questions that you guys may have. I want to thank all of you for coming. We do these every day. We just come in and check out what we're doing. Hamilton's with us, and Hamilton says in the question box, "Thank you, David. Have a wonderful weekend. I appreciate you." We appreciate you, Hamilton, and all of the subscribers to our service who support what it is that we're doing and really love the markets themselves, as we do. And I think everybody wants to make money from the markets, but not everybody is suited to the markets perfectly. There is a kind of a personality trait that probably, I don't know exactly what it is, but there are personality traits that are conducive to doing well, and those personality traits are the ability to relax, the ability not to focus on money, the ability to follow directions and to know what's right and what's wrong, to not have compulsive gambling urges and stuff like that. Those are traits. If you don't have those, you'll tend to do well or tend to do better in the market. Obviously, the reverse of that is that people who do have those compulsions to act out of turn and to not wait and be patient and can't stand seeing the market move without them, they tend to do bad. They don't just tend to do a little worse, they tend to do really bad. So it's really important to have a light spirit, a relaxed attitude, and not to be hung up on making a specific amount of money every hour or every day or every unit of time. It's really more about only being in the market when the odds are in your favor. If you can think that way, then making money becomes a very delightful side effect of the first thing, which is to get it right. And that's what our service is really providing you, is the ability to get it right. And we'll show you how right we can get it. And then when you start to really settle in on that, then you'll be able to trade literally like a pro with these kinds of setups, and you'll slowly over time start learning what the market looks like before it starts to make these really impressive moves, and that will help you educate yourself. On behalf of myself, Jerry Fagnan, Page Trader, and so on, I'd like to thank all of you for checking in with us today. We hope to see you back here. We're on every day for about 15 minutes. Come by, check us out, and you'll get a chance to see what we're doing. And take a trial of our products by simply giving us a call. You can call us at 702-485-3934. You can also call Jerry Fagnan as well, and his phone number is 702-334-1503. 702-334-1503. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you guys here on Tuesday back here at Page Trader and the Williams Edge. See you then.